what's an EV stock that's kind of flying under the radar? I mean, we've seen a lot of them up,
Polestar.
right?
Polestar. Polestar.
What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about Polestar. This stock is listed on Nasdaq with the ticker PSNY. Now, it's been a while since my last Polestar update, but it has been an interesting few weeks for this stock. Having dropped to an all-time low earlier this month, the stock has rallied over the past couple of weeks, gaining more than 20%. And I will look at the charts later in this video too and give you my thoughts on what will happen over the next few weeks, with some very important catalysts coming up very soon too, so stick around until the end of the video and don't miss out on any vital information. If you enjoy my Polestar videos and want me to create regular updates, can I ask you to smash the like button? I'm aiming to get 200 likes on this video. Help me achieve this goal. It literally costs you nothing, but it helps me out so much. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification so you never miss out on any new videos. I want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Now let's get into it. In the past few weeks, Polestar announced that the Polestar 6 LA Concept Edition that doesn't ship until 2026 has already sold out within a week. This is a limited edition model, and all 500 slots of the LA Concept Edition have already been spoken for. The launch will begin with 500 numbered LA Concept Editions of the Polestar 6, followed by the more standard versions. According to Polestar's website, the LA Concept Edition will start at a price of $200,000 and require $25,000 down to secure one of these 500 available slots. That already equates to over $12.5 million in reservations alone. Following the first 500 launch editions, Polestar will begin production of the regular versions of the Roadster. The Swedish EV maker said that because of the high initial demand for the LA Concept version of the Polestar 6, it plans to open reservations for the regular versions later in 2022. The next EV to arrive will be the Polestar 3 SUV, which will make its world debut in October. So as we move into the second half of September now, we really should be seeing more news about this Polestar 3 very soon. As always, there should be a positive effect on the share price too, leading up to the release of a new model. And I think that we can see this here in the daily trading volume for Polestar stock, which has been regularly going over 2 million shares for the past couple of weeks, which is much higher than the 1 million daily trading volume that we've seen for most of August. And looking at the charts, we can see that the stock has been on the up over the past few weeks too, since hitting a low point of just $6.20 at the beginning of September. Polestar stock has been gaining solid over the past few weeks, reaching as high as $8.20. Now, the overall stock market did take a hit during the week as inflation data was hotter than expected, and Wall Street seen its worst sell-off for more than 2 years, with Nasdaq dropping over 5% in one day. But Polestar stock seen a very little drop and quickly found support once again and looks to continue to move upwards again in the coming weeks, in my opinion. Earlier this month, Polestar released their first financial data since going public through the reverse merger, where Polestar reported revenue of over $1 billion, which is up 95% for the first half of 2022. They announced over 21,000 cars delivered in the first 6 months of 2022 compared to only 9,500 for the same period of 21. And the cash and cash equivalents of nearly 1.4 billion is up more than 80% since the end of 2021. Now, when we look here at this table of key financial highlights, we can see that revenue has nearly doubled, but so has the cost of sales. But the biggest issue here is the fact that instead of heading towards profitability, the operating loss has actually increased even further. A loss of over $364 million for the first 6 months of 2021 has actually grown now to a massive $885 million for the first 6 months of 2022. So this is a huge loss to make in just 6 months, and this is something that Polestar needs to turn around very quickly. Yes, there has been increased costs over the past year for all materials, as well as the costs of production delays and everything else associated with the whole industry, but the fact remains that Polestar had projected far better numbers than this. When we look back at their investors' presentation from earlier this year, Polestar had been projecting over $3 billion in revenue for the full year. So $1 billion for the first 6 months of the year is still a long way behind. But with the launch of the Polestar 3 next month, we could see this figure improve. But what is more telling is that Polestar's estimated gross profit was for $400 million for this year, representing a 12% margin. But the recent financials show only $53 million for the 6-month period, which is much closer to a 5% margin. So this is very concerning, but the company has managed to expand into more markets, and Polestar expects to deliver on its full year target of 50,000 cars. The company has achieved several milestones over the past 6 months, and vehicle deliveries will be weighted towards the fourth quarter, following disruptions from COVID-19 in China, so the upcoming financial statements will provide a much better view of what is really going on. And Polestar is expecting to publish its Q3 financial results on November 11th. Guys, if you've watched this far into the video and you appreciate the content, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Check out my Twitter at PaulTInvesting to stay up to date with the stocks that I cover on the channel, and hit me up with any stock suggestions that you might have.
So what's an EV stock that's kind of flying under the radar? I mean, we've seen a lot of them up, right?
Polestar.
Polestar.
Like Polestar, PSNY. I know them so well, and I spent so much time with this company. And I study EV companies like nobody studies EV companies like me. And I literally I never thought I would spend so much time in studying technology, like building batteries and stuff. And Polestar is Volvo's EV company, and they didn't want to. Volvo's making its own EVs, but they're boring cars. So the real designers in Sweden were like, we want to build a new brand, like we want to build a Tesla, but our version of it. So let's copy Tesla and spin it off as its own brand, because nobody's going to think of Volvo as like a Tesla. And so they created Polestar. And Polestar is really using Chinese manufacturing right now, and they're building a factory in South Carolina, but they have the battery supply chain to build 50,000 cars a year, which is what they're on track for. Ford isn't close, Rivian isn't close, Lucid can't even make 1,000 cars, And so it's here's the company making 50,000 nice cars a year, EV, and selling them, all of them. And they have three main markets. They have China because they have the Chinese connection. They have Europe because it's Volvo. And then they have the United States now. So, the fact of the matter is they have the Volvo ecosystem, which is dealers and service that they're able to piggyback on, which is the biggest pain point for Tesla. So it's an app-based thing, and the SUV comes out next year. And the SUV is sweet. And so the Polestar 2 is a great car. And, the stock was like a $10 stock, and it kind of rallied a little bit. And then because it's a SPAC, it's gotten hammered. But it's a SPAC through Gore's group. And I know Alec Gores myself, and I hang out with him. And these guys are legit. And it's they've taken so many companies public and successful. And I know the SPAC craze has kind of been this whole thing, but this is a legit thing. And so Polestar, they internally thought was worth 30 billion, and they got it for 20 billion, and now it's trading below the price. It's 16 to 18 billion, and they're on track for a $2 to $3 billion run rate right now, selling cars, EVs, and growing exponentially over the next 5 years. There you go.
Ross,
so you got Tesla, you buy for $300, and you got Polestar for $9, $8.
I've never heard of this stock. I Girl Scout honor. I've never heard of this stock. This is so exciting. You lit up like a disco ball. I feel like I'm back at the rave.
Well, I just can't believe it. I mean, everybody wants to buy a car. And car prices are going up everywhere. If you can make a car, you're selling a car, any car.
Now, this is an article that I came across the other day on Seeking Alpha. I won't go into the entire article in detail, but I have put a link to this in the description below for anyone who wants to read. Basically, this talks about the impact and risks associated with Polestar's exposure to China. So Polestar stock has been an underperformer across the broader electric vehicle peer group since its Nasdaq debut in late June. Yet the Swedish EV maker has one of the best fundamentals compared to other EV startups that have only recently entered their production cycles. Polestar has delivered more than 21,000 cars in the first half of 2022, representing a huge 125% increase, as well as being able to leverage the manufacturing experience of key backers Volvo and Geely. The near-term discrepancy between Polestar's fundamental strength and valuation slump is likely a result of broad-based market concerns over exposure to China production headwinds, given the ongoing supply chain disruptions stemming from COVID lockdowns, and of course the current energy crisis. So this is well worth a read. So check this out in the link in the description below. So I'm just skipping through here to the conclusion, which is something that I do agree with. Considering Polestar's recent reaffirmed delivery guidance of 50,000 vehicles, as well as the expectation of mitigated impacts to its near-term fundamental performance under ongoing COVID disruptions and the latest energy crisis in China auto productions, we remain optimistic on Polestar's upside potential, making it a favourable investment at current levels. Despite the fact that Polestar has now dropped down below $8, this article is maintaining a price target of $18, which is still far above the average analyst price targets. Looking at tip ranks, we can see that the average price target is $11.50, which is still a nice 51% above the current price. But I think that Polestar need to get their profit margins sorted out before we can expect huge increases here. So guys, what do you think of that? Drop me a comment and let me know what you think and what you're expecting in the coming weeks. Do you agree or disagree with anything that I've said? Drop a comment and share your opinion directly with me. Now, it has been a while since I made any Polestar updates, and I do think that there is a great long-term potential here. In terms of EV companies, Polestar is still miles ahead of most, but they need to start producing numbers that are actually going to be in line with what they have put in their investors presentation. Either way, I will be keeping a close eye on this stock over the coming months, but their next financials will need to be far better. That is my opinion, but remember that I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. Remember to check out my Twitter at PaulTInvesting, and I'll see you in the next update video.